we're going to enter back into the innovation showcase portion. So a couple more presentations from solution providers. So up next, we have David Hayes with Stratos.
First of all, I'd like to thank Micah and everybody for having us. It's an amazing conference so far. I think it's extremely innovative. There's a lot of good stuff coming from this. But I'm here to talk about not really my technology. I actually want to educate everybody a little bit further on what's currently happening in AI and mining, and not the future, but actually what is possible today. So I'm a car guy. I love Formula One. This is the Ferrari garage just prior to one of the major regulation changes. And I don't know if you are car people, but it doesn't really matter in the sense of one thing. Can anybody spot the laptops? They're tucked away all the way in the back of the garage. Now, Ferrari's notorious for having great mechanics, but the actual technology that they had at the time was insufficient. So there's a theory that nothing changes significantly in 5 years, everything in 10. So what did Mercedes do? They went with a full data-centric approach to one of the most competitive sports in the world, and they dominated and won 8 world championships in a row, which is unprecedented. Now, what does this have to do with mining? Well, we've learned this week, especially earlier at the Capital Projects Symposium in Toronto, that raising capital for mines is probably one of the most competitive fundraisers in the world. So not only is Formula One competitive, but so is raising money for mining. That being said, you have to protect that investment. So this is why mining is so hungry and eager to adopt AI and technology, especially data-capable technologies. But the key is to actually be able to deliver in a simplistic manner. So let's talk about the status quo. Why is the industry fundamentally flawed right now? Well, this is the cycle that's flawed. Our technology is focused on the development of a project. So when you want to go get to a mineral, you have to develop either a vertical shaft or a lateral drift or a heading or a ramp. Teams are so-so at plans. I'd argue that the plans are actually incentivized to be wildly aggressive, and they're flawed from day one, but that's besides the point. Then the team goes and builds out the schedule, yearly, monthly, weekly, daily shift. The key here is the teams that execute on the work are actually very good, and our data shows that. The miners themselves are extremely efficient because they want to get paid. They want their bonus. They want to put a roof over their families' heads. The problem is that feedback loop stops, and this causes 39% project delay. Now, that might seem like a little bit, or it might seem like a lot, but when you put it into terms of billions, it's a huge number. So what ends up happening is 80% of projects are 43% over budget. That's a crazy ratio. So there is an insatiable demand to fix this problem. So when you think about AI and mining, it has to solve that ratio, or else it doesn't matter. Because if it doesn't solve something towards that ratio, it's moot. So this is how the world in mining plans. Everything's normally distributed, everything's pretty, nothing overlaps. But our data sets, billions upon billions of data from underground mining, this is actually what it looks like. Those are the distributions with overlap. That is where that delay comes from. That's the problem. Now, with heavy data-centric solutions, you can solve that problem. With pen and paper and shift reports, you can't. So why is this the answer? Why is digitization the answer to solve mining's delay problem? Well, first of all, any mines that have successfully adopted AI in mining typically get a boost in productivity between 20 and 35%. Now, miners hate being first movers to technology, but the mines that adopt this, they immediately see uptick. A great example of that is Vale's IROC facility in Sudbury. They immediately saw a 30% boost when they implemented a little bit of digitization. Our systems also prevented millions upon millions of dollars on projects from litigation. That's a huge problem. Now, what I mean by that is the owners will then argue with the EPCMs or the contractors of, you said this, I say this, we can't agree on this, and we're going to litigate to figure out whose problem it was that caused this issue. The last thing is, or second last thing at least, is projects that adopt AI and data-centric solutions are typically find their root cause of delays about 1 to 2 months ahead of time, which is actually very powerful when you're thinking that some projects cost as much as $10,000 a day to operate. And lastly, consulting billables are a real thorn in the side of owners. Typically what happens is a project will get sidetracked, it'll get delayed, everybody will argue, they'll litigate, and then their solution is to bring in some sort of consultancy that says, we have the solution, here's your spreadsheet, and it does nothing at the end of the day. It might have nominal difference, but it's not significant enough to solve that 43% budget overrun. Now, AI-enabled projects typically crush delays, and here's why. 40 to 50% delay, You get 20-30% more accountability. Operational performances, you have 100 pieces of information on a daily shift report versus 15 million pieces a day. Delay mitigation and measurement and root causes, like I said, 2 months, ahead of schedule, so on and so forth. It keeps going. Now, here's the big problem, and this I really want everybody to take home. In tech, everybody talks a big game. Everybody has a solution. Everybody has the magic wand. Now, execution is king in technology. It's very difficult and it's extremely rare. The problem is there's a massive disconnect because in mining, you have to underpromise and overdeliver, and ounces don't lie. So think about that disconnect. The ethos that we're bred into as technology companies is promise the world and you'll figure it out along the way. In mining, you don't say anything unless you can guarantee it. Think about that transformational mind shift that has to happen for technology companies to shift their mind towards a mining mindset and not the other way around. So this happened in the autonomous vehicle space. Come talk to me about self-driving cars. We built one early days in the company, side story. But these are all the years that Elon Musk promised to his board, shareholders, and executives that they were going to deliver full self-driving capabilities. That was every year in the financial reports. That's insane. Imagine promising a mining company board of directors that you were going to produce your gold every year and not hitting that target. You're going to lose total credibility. But in technology, beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. If you haven't seen that demonstration, you should check out when they try to smash the windows of the Cybertruck. It's great. Okay, so here's the quick crash course. So if anybody wants to learn what to evaluate AI mining companies on, first, it must be easy. If your relatives at a holiday party cannot understand what the solution is, neither can the team on site. Second, it has to be powerful, has to impact ROI, has to impact KPI and results. And third, it has to be agile. If the team who's supplying some sort of AI-based solution cannot remodel their technology tens, if not hundreds of times a week, they're too slow to keep up with the project changes that happen. And that's super important. That speed and agility will allow the technology team to keep up with the change of pace that's happening on the project. Now, when I go back to easy here, you want the mining teams to use your technology, not necessarily the data teams, because the mining teams are the ones who are getting the company the minerals. Those are the ones who matter for AI adoption. Okay, so why am I up here talking? Well, we've actually done this in secrecy for quite some time. We deployed one of the world's most advanced underground mining solutions in 2021. We've been doing this in secrecy with no marketing or sales, just direct sales to clients because we wanted the first mover advantage. So we've been doing this for a little bit now. Our system takes 1 day to install, no additional infrastructure that's otherwise already in the mines, and you immediately close that feedback loop because we have 24/7 full understanding of what's happening at the face and all critical junctions along the path of that project. So what Stratos does, because I'm sure none of you have heard about it, and that's okay. First things first, it takes 1 day, and that's critical, because if it's not fast and easy to deploy, mining projects will never adopt. Simple as that. And remember, the mining team's job is not to put your technology solution in the mine. It is to mine. So every time they touch your technology, it is a waste of their time, and that's the mindset you need to take in. Second, our system is live 24/7 with 100% accountability, which is validated. So we are constantly pumping out data to the clients in real time. And what I say by real time, I mean 30 times a second. We are updating the site activities, efficiencies, delays, ratios, site logic, everything you'd want to know about your development project, it's in there. We also invented the world's first AI assistant. Cheryl did a great demonstration of what ChatGPT is capable of. That is one layer of what's possible. So for our system, we build proprietary project data for the client with 40 layers of also proprietary AI models. And then we consume it for them in a way where they can just simply ask our system a question. We have a huge data and analytics engine that then they can get their answers within 9 seconds. We've deployed it already. It's live. It's been live for a while, and it's wildly potent. Now, instant delay analysis. This is what also matters for an AI technology. You need to know where the problems are, you need to know how to solve them, and you need to know how to get to the bottom of the problem. And lastly, we cook over 100 models a week, validated. Now, in the business hours, that's 15 minutes a model. Now, when typical projects will take, let's say 1,000, 10,000 images to cook a model, we take 100. to an incredible degree of accuracy and the long tail of 99.99999. How do we do this? Well, we built this thing for a long time when nobody was watching, and it took a very long time. There we go. So, thank you very much for the opportunity. Hopefully you've learned the important pieces of adopting AI in mining. Happy to chat. We've been doing it for quite some time. I have many battle scars I can happily talk to. I'd also love to talk to any of the companies who need to learn the lessons of what to put in the IP provisional clauses in the contracts. I mentioned that earlier, but happy to share the stories. I've already footed out, hundreds of $1,000s in legal bills, so at least I have the knowledge to help you with. Thanks.